Hey everybody, it's Elizabeth from Silver Nest Homeschooling, Mama of 4, and I am currently taking my 7th grader through botany from Gather Round, and we are loving it. It's probably one of our most favorite, most wonderful time. I don't know if it's just because she and I are just together, or if it's just something that I'm just right time, right season. She's so interested in it. She's poring over books and going outside and planting things and growing her own things inside. And just we've taken a field trip to a couple of greenhouses. We bought some seed kits, and then she's been growing in her windowsill, and she grew mushrooms, and we bought some raspberries and some alpine strawberries. So it's just been really, really exciting. I know it's fall and it seems like a weird time to do botany, but it's actually been one of the best times we possibly could have done. Planted a bunch of bulbs. It's just been wonderful. And so I do have a library haul of some things that I picked up from the library. Our book that we decided to read with this was The Secret Garden. So she read that pretty quickly, was able to watch the movie, compare and contrast the two. And I love Gather Round. It does have a list of the books that they recommend. And so we did get some ideas. That's how I chose The Secret Garden as our kind of like one fun read that we were going to do. But also I just love to put in library requests and just have stuff come in and then just see which ones fit us best. So this is half of the books that I ordered from the library, and we rejected some right away. We're like, yeah, these are not going to work for us. But this is the half that we thought we might actually use, or she's already used. And so I thought that would be helpful if you're planning to do a botany unit or you're planning to use Gather Round. Gather Round is a wonderful, godly, encouraging, life-giving. There's a prayer, there's a scripture to memorize. We've done unit studies with them for many, many years, and it's my happy, happy, happy place. And this particular one are just amazing. So I highly recommend it for older students. I don't know what it's like for the younger students, but yes, definitely middle school, high school, it's great. All right, so Junior Plant Lovers Handbook, a Green Thumb Guide for Kids. We haven't been able to dig into this one quite yet. Here's what it looks like on the inside, but it is one that looks like it will be potentially very helpful. So a lot of indoor plants, not a lot of pictures. She likes pictures. This one I also got for indoor plants. My kids are interested in growing some indoor plants. So it's called House Plants for All by Danae Horst. And just looking at just great pictures, interiors, of course, and just some different projects you can do, some different plants that might be good for them to start with. I'm not much of an indoor plant person just because I tend to kill them, but my dad was really good at it. And so I have some kids that are pretty good at it. So that might be something. Actually, they all wanted houseplants when we went to the greenhouse. So it was pretty fun. All right. So this one I really liked, Botany in a Day. I mean, you couldn't learn this in a day, but I love all the pictures. It's nice to have one big giant identification guide just to see the variety of what God has created. So, but the cover's boring to her, so she didn't like it quite as much. And it's herbal. So again, you have to think through like, what kind of plants am I going to be looking for? This one was too big, but is exactly what she asked for, which is how do you collect and save seeds? She was so curious. And so it's nice because it does have pictures, and she was able to flip through it and realize how people are not just growing things, but saving them to use again. So helpful. Didn't spend a lot of time in it, but it was helpful. One we haven't tried yet, but Plants to the Rescue. The plants, trees, and fungi that are solving some of the world's biggest problems. So written by Dr. Vikram Baliga. And so I thought this one is pretty interesting. It's a little young for her, but it is interesting. So probably hit that. We're about halfway through the unit, so I'm planning to look through that. This one I own, Alexander von Humboldt. This one she will be reading, The Incredible True Adventures. She thought it was too many words, but it is actually not too bad. But it's fascinating to see. The storyline is just amazing. So I might read this one out loud to her. Highly recommend him. And Linnaeus. I really like Linnaeus. We have an audiobook of Linnaeus too. Around the World in 80 Plants. She's like, Mom, there's a book about Around the World in 80 Plants. And so we like Around the World in 80 Days. And so she's flipped through this one. The Language of Plants, Understanding How Plants Communicate. Again, this one is probably going to look through it in the next couple weeks, but we haven't gone through it yet. And our author on this case is Helena Hastrova. I don't know if I said that right. All right, the one she's absolutely in love with, and she obviously already has marked up and said, this is the stuff I need to know and want to do, is A Kid's Guide to Plants in the Pacific Northwest. Now, one of the challenges with a lot of books for us is that for many, many years, they were published all in the Pacific, not in the Pacific Northwest, but in the East Coast. And so you're getting plant books and things that are not applicable to where you live, and it can be pretty frustrating. And the funniest story we have is that my dad actually tried to live off the land at one point when he was out of college and make cattail flower and do all these fun things. And he almost died because he was using a handbook from the East Coast while living in the West Coast, and he wasn't getting enough nutrients. The amount of energy he was using to make the flour was actually more calories burned than the calories he was getting. And so thankfully there was a mom in his world that a friend's mom that fed him once a week, and then he found like an old apple tree and ate off the apples off this apple tree. But yeah, so I mean, yes, it's fun to find out about nettle tea and all the things, but when you have someone who actually was like, I'm going to live off the land, but without being a farmer, it's pretty interesting just to hear the story. So we're very grateful for one that actually does fill up a jolly, give us some information about the Pacific Northwest. So she has tagged wild ginger, thought you might want to know, fireweed, which we actually have growing in our yard, and salal. She was really excited to find out about salal and baby cakes because our land is covered in salal under our pine trees. And then she's going to look for licorice fern. So she's pretty excited about that. So those are the books and the plants and the things we're using for botany. I said it in an earlier video. We're also played Canopy Evergreen, and we also own the game Planted, so we're probably going to try to play Planted as well. I hope that was helpful and interesting, and if you're doing a botany unit, maybe some of these books will help you too. All right, talk to you later. Bye.